Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Potter for the Victory of the Light. And today we have two esteemed guests coming on. At the bottom of our screen here, we have Michel Zirger. You may have seen his previous interview, which is probably going to go up on the same newsletter and maybe a different post on my website. That's going to be up by the time that this video comes out. He is an incredible researcher from France originally, who now lives in Japan. And he's had many similar contacts as I have had, where they're hiding themselves, and many other people have these experiences. So he is absolutely a real face-to-face contactee, and he is one of the finest researchers of some of the Venusian's primary influencers, that being George Adamski and, of course, George Hunt Williamson, who arranged the first very famous meeting with George Adamski in the desert on December 20th around 1 p.m. in 1957, 67 years prior to the date that I didn't realize at the time, but the commander who allowed me interviews, they postponed the interview by 1 hour in order that we would be meeting at the exact time that George Adamski met. So there's a lot of wonderful synchronicities going on here in the world today. And before we get going, and I introduced, everyone knows Raymond. We'll bring him in just a second as well. But we'll say hello to these gentlemen after I do a little bit of interesting information on my website. So here we are. This is the Promised Revealed website, folks. And this is one thing I want you all to check out because this is a great cruise coming up. I really want to promote this cruise. We have quite a few speakers: Jimmy Church, Adam Apollo, Mary Magdalene, or Mary Laura Eisenhower, many others, myself, Brad Olson, Jason Shirka, and many other speakers. So there's no vax, no requirements, no shots, no tests, no mask on this cruise from Los Angeles to the Mexican Riviera. We're going down to Cabo San Lucas. Then we're going to shoot across to Puerto Vallarta and then on to Mazatlan. On the way, you're going to get personal time with all of these speakers. Vivian Chauvet, the amazing Arcturian hybrid there, revealing a lot of information. And down here, you're going to have to sign in. So please sign in under my name. And under my name, I offer a referral box. You get a discount of $50 to my summer conference. And you get a 1-hour healing session. I do massage. I've been doing that for 40 years. Worked on many famous people in Hollywood, including number one, I guess he called him Jonathan Frakes on Star Trek, Data, many other famous movie stars from Dynasty back in the 80s there. So I'm a registered qualified therapist. So check this out. Imagine going on a cruise, relaxing. All your food is included. It's an incredible trip. And I really hope to have some people sign up. I am going for sure now. And it's going to be a great trip. Number two, we're going to go back here. And I want to share another great thing that, of course, is going on. And I'm kind of proud of this, folks. For those of you who know me and followed my website for some time, I'm kind of like a toddler with thumbs. But here we are. Look what's happening. Omnek is coming. Okay, I'm going to take you down here right to the new website. When you think of a website, think of a caveman with 3 thumbs only, trying to work on the internet. That's me. Well, with the gratitude of my team in India and Pakistan, I said, copy this website by Neil Gower from Portal to Ascension. And we have some specials right now. The Christmas special is $700 till February 13th. Then we have a Valentine's Day surprise. It's raising up a little bit. That's a surprise. So get your tickets early. And then, of course, on my birthday, which I call the Sweet Love Ticket, is going to be $350, and then the last chance salute kind of thing. The prices are going up, and they're going to go up to probably $370. So you want to get your tickets. Now, I don't ever want anyone to not be able to come. So you'll notice here, we actually have, it's like a website within a website. We have the vendors' information. We're not sure how that's going to happen. This is a fact page. This is where to stay. Every single hotel, Airbnb, bed and breakfast, everything is located here, including campgrounds, where they're located with maps. This is the place to go. Where do I stay, Rob? Here it is. This is the venue location at the community center in Mount Shasta. Schedule is not up. And you have the speakers here. You come down here. So, like I said, if you don't have money, there's volunteer positions. So there's a few left open. So want to get that. So this is a great summer conference video. You click on this, you're going to see kind of the vibe and the energy of the group and the beautiful mountain and the environment that you're going to be in and around. You want to purchase a ticket, you go right here. And of course, this is about angels and ETs in the multidimensional omniverse. This year's title, courtesy of Cosmic Raymond Keller, Omniverse. And then this year's dedication is to all of you. You come down here as the speakers. So look at this. Omnek, 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 Omnek. The beautiful Venusian woman who came down from the fifth dimension. For those of you who follow Ekankar, she was on the fifth dimension, and her and her uncle Odin said some mantras after she accepted the offer to come to the physical plane of Venus. They said some mantras, and her Odin picked her up and carried her to the famous Ekankar temple called Retz. It's a multi-dimensional city there of physical and extra-dimensional beings. And I'm sorry that the name hasn't changed there. We had some mistakes, I guess, on that. But there's a Raymond Keller, Vivian Chavez, myself. Sasha Stone is coming this year. And we have Brad Olson, one of my favorite regulars. And, of course, Jane DeForest, the woman who talks to people on the other side. Jane Masteller, Ismael Perez. And this is Dan Winter. Shari Lynn, an incredibly talented artist and musician with a voice of an angel. And that's Haruko, Dr. Scott and Vicki Warner. She does QHT. Dr. Scott works with Saint Germain. And this is Anya Schaefer, who works very closely with Omnek. And I have another couple here, May and Anthony. We had a cancellation there, so we bought them on. So please think about coming to the conference. You might want to get your tickets early. If you need free tickets, now's the time to ask. Also, I'm going to go back to the main site here. This is kind of like a site within a site. I'm going to keep this and just change out this for my next year's conference. But one of the important things that I think people should know is when you come down here and register, we've got all the great blogs here. I've got an inner circle and the basic membership. If you sign up here, it is free. And when you go in and you are logged in, and if you want to get anything on my site, not everything, but some things are on discount, and you will only see them when you're logged in. You also get my book for free and access to all the recordings and all the videos of the Venusians. If you purchase this one-time ticket to the inner circle. I'm sorry, the basic membership does not include that, but there's a tremendous amount of information there when you join the inner circle. So you got a lot of stuff here. Also, please check your emails, folks. If you ever purchased anything, you're automatically signed up. And if you're on the basic membership and the inner circle membership, you will be getting emails of some incredible information. Dr. Raymond Keller has put out a couple new articles on George Adamski. I think we have 2 up on the website and the blog now. Number 3 is going to be coming up here in the next couple days. So Mr. Keller keeps cranking out information. He's combining now the book about Dr. Frank Strange's, Dorothy Martin, a famous psychic and channel who worked with George Hunt Williamson and was taken down to the inner retreats down in Peru. Also, he's doing a book. Her name is Dorothy Martin. We called her Sister Thedra. And the other person he's adding now to that book, it's going to be he's fiddling around with some titles. Don't quote me, but he maybe reveals something about prophets here in a moment. But that's going to be coming out soon. And again, of course, all of Dr. Keller's books are here. You just come here to the book section and you have all of his books and more. So you can support him. And today, once we get there's Dr. Keller, Dr. Keller all day long here on the Promise Revealed, folks. So we've got the legacy from Venus They Come. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books, and 8's coming out soon. And we have the Gospel of Thomas. That's actually 8 books with the 9th one coming soon. From Dr. Keller. There's my poor little book that Raymond hopefully will help me get it together. So I'm going to stop sharing now. And before we get going here, I'm going to announce we're going to have a special interview. Maybe I'll get it together to be live, but it's going to be with Dr. Keller day after Christmas. We're going to be doing a rereading from the Youth Gospel of Jesus. So that's my little introduction. I hope you folks will take advantage of some of those offers to get some free signups and get some discounts on the products. And I'd like to welcome once again my favorite Venusian friend, mentor, guide, spiritual adept, and Nimbus carrying contactee, Dr. Raymond Keller. Cos, how are you doing today?
Good, Rob. Thank you for having me on the program and being here with my other friend, Venus, Mr. Zirger.
I'd like to introduce Mr. Michel Zirger from France, now living in Japan, another wunderkind, as we call them in Germany, a researcher who actually purchased part of the estate of George Adamski and George Hunt Williamson, a little-known contactee. But you're going to find tremendous amount of information from George Hunt Williamson's books, and they'll be talking about them. So I am actually going to kind of step aside here for a minute. I'll hang on for a minute too, and I think I'd like to start off the conversation. I'm going to let these two gentlemen. We're going to kind of be like flies on the wall and let them share information. I'm sure Dr. Keller watched silently behind the scenes if you saw part one of this interview series. And he came in and he probably has a question for Mr. Zirger, and maybe they'll go off on tangents. They'll trade talking. And Mr. Zirger, I invite you to ask some questions of Raymond Keller, and we're going to have a wonderful time, folks. So let the questions begin. Kaz?
Okay. Well, before we came on the air, we were talking about Daniel K. Ross. He was very close to all of the international Get Acquainted programs that were established by George Adamski to serve as a fellowship throughout the world for believers in the extraterrestrial presence and the assistance of the ETs. They put out this publication. It's called UFO Contact in Europe, and I have all the issues of that because I was a member of it back in the 1960s onward. There's a gentleman named Hans Peterson, and he's the one that got the ball rolling. He was the director of an organization that was set up in 1957 called SUFOI, Scandinavian UFO Information. But the group didn't, they sponsored George Adamski's tour to Belgium and to other countries in Europe, the Netherlands and so forth. He, tried to convince them that, the extraterrestrial presence was real, but they weren't quite ready to commit to it. That's why Peterson, who was a colonel in the Denmark Air Force, the Danish Air Force, why he founded the chapter of International Get Acquainted program in Europe. But from his publication, I want to read three things first.
Before you start that, Kaz, I want to give people a little background. So I should have prefaced this. Is this going to be about George Adamski, one of the first contactees in 1952, had his contact in modern day. And then Mr. Zirger, who's researching a contemporary George Hunt Williamson. So Raymond's talking now about in the very early days. You won't recognize any of these for those of you new UFO people. We're going into the history here. And what took place there with this gentleman, he bought George Adamski, and after George Adamski was talking about meeting him, the guy who invited him kind of said, well, we don't know about the spaceships, and I don't really want to promote that he's actually had physical contact. of course, he was with the Air Force, and maybe he was told to do that. We don't know. But I'm going to step out here and let these two gentlemen go. All right. Thank you.
Oh,
You need me? Just
all right. Thank you, Rob. I just thought that this was important because the organizations of IGAP that Daniel Ross had in the United States, and then there was another large group in Japan, and they put out a publication called UFO Contactee, which was really excellent as far as covering activities in Asia, and it was a very slick publication. I think I have one here. Yeah, this is the UFO contactee, and one of the articles, and there was Daniel Ross talks on UFOs and space development in Tokyo. So Mr. Zirger to tell us a little bit about his encounters with them. But let me explain the philosophy of the International Get Acquainted program that Daniel believed in, I believe in, and Mr. Peterson believed in. And it's a four-point statement that people from other worlds in our system, our solar system, are visiting our planet. People from other worlds are in contact with certain political and scientific circles in the East and West. And we know that's true because we had the Israeli Space Authority come out and say so, that we're in contact with the Confederation of Planets. We had the Canadian Defense Minister, the late Defense Minister there. He also came out and said as much. Number three, people from all walks of life, official and unofficial, all over the world, have been contacted by people from other worlds. Such contacts have been kept secret so far. And number four, the philosophy brought to the world by George Adamski is considered as an aid in helping to uncover the truth of our origin and our future destiny. Okay, as far as Daniel Ross, he was a Navy veteran like myself. He was on a nuclear submarine and in charge of maintaining the reactors on board the USS Pintado. And his book is excellent. I highly recommend it. It's the truth about life on the moon, Mars, and Venus. And it's available through the Pintado Press and mostly on Amazon because there are just a few books left in circulation. So I'd recommend that you, if you see one, scarf it up quickly.
So thank you for speaking about Daniel Ross. But I bought Daniel Ross' book in 1990, and through this book, I contacted Achiro Kubota in Japan, and I'm here now. It's been 27 years now. I'm in Japan. It's thanks to Daniel Ross. But maybe for people who doesn't know that Daniel Ross, I would like to show some picture of Daniel Ross, maybe just a few pictures from Daniel Ross. We have many meetings together in Tokyo.
Yes, and I understand also that many from Japan came to the United States and went on tours with him. I wrote an article about his tour that he conducted in Southern California to Mount Palomar, and then also out to Desert Center, that area around there.
This is Daniel Ross. After publishing his book, he's signing his book with his wife, Pamela Ross, who died 10 years ago at 60 years old. And Daniel Ross passed away last year at 74 years old. and I was sad to learn this.
Was
And,
was he living in Barberton, Ohio?
no, he was living in California, in Concord, I think, Concord.
Oh, or Walnut Creek, right?
Before it was living in Concord after. And another photo here. Here and Coco is here. He came to my wedding party in Tokyo. So you have on the left, you have Hachiro Kubota.
Mr. Zirger, you're not sharing the screen. Look at the screen. You're sharing a Zoom information. You have to open the proper window. You look on the screen. You see what you're sharing? No one can see the images that you want to share with us. So you have to open the different windows there. Not there. I don't know where you have it. Yeah, one of the other ones. So when you share screen, it'll give you a choice of what you want to share. So you must open that on your computer. We're just giving Mr. Michel Zirger a little thing here. There we go.
Oh, there it is. I see it now.
Okay, so now he knows what he's doing. I'm going to shut up now. Go ahead.
So first, we are going to come back to the previous picture. So this one, so Daniel Ross and his wife, Pamela, in 1992, I think. And the second one, he came to my wedding party in Tokyo. So it's me in the middle. And my wife on the right, and Mr. Kubota on the left. And behind me, Pamela Ross and Daniel Ross, and the member of GAP Japan. So this is in 1994. And I have some other photo of Daniel Ross. But maybe take off.
So you'll need to stop share and then share again.
Another one. No, collegian. It's me with Hachiro Kubota.
You need to share the screen again.
You do.
You need to share the screen again. Anyway, so while you go ahead and try to do what you just did before, go ahead, Mr. Zirger, share the screen with the button on the bottom. So I'm going to fill in some blanks here while he pulls that image up. Can you pull that image up and share the new image like you did the last one? So this is a great thing. So these are the back, not so far back in the 90s, but you can see the interest around the world, supporting what Raymond is saying about all the people who want to doing this and who are wanting to promote this information. Here we go.
Wow, that's a great picture.
This is me in 1994, 1995 with Hachiro Kubota in Tokyo with the GAP members. I have many photos with so I cannot show everything, of course. I have another one from Daniel Ross.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is great. We're actually getting to see some of the groundbreaking researchers here in Japan.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Raymond, you can stop share. I'll stop sharing for you. Raymond, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Mr. Zirger?
Oh, yes. I understand that Get Acquainted program is the largest group in Japan, but can you tell us about any others that are involved actively in UFO research?
Okay. So Get Acquainted program is finished now, I think. After the death of Hachiro Kubota, so he died in 1999, and now Get Acquainted program doesn't exist anymore, I think, in Japan. So there is other group, maybe, but not so influential. Get Acquainted program was all over Japan. There was many group all over Japan until 1999, until the death of Hachiro Kubota. And after, he couldn't, the group, Get Acquainted program Japan, couldn't continue. So now it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh,
Mm.
thank you. I did cover a lot about UFO activity in Japan in the 70s and 80s and the 60s in my sixth book. But I understand that the wife of the prime minister there, Miyuki Hatoyama, that she
Yes,
said
yes.
she's been to this is in my second book, Final Down Rockets to Venus. She said that she's been to Venus in a higher dimension, and she does a weekly program there about paranormal phenomena and lost continents and legends like Mu and Lemuria. And can you tell us something about her?
It's well known. She told things about being abducted or being traveled to Venus, but I don't think she has a program now. I don't think she has a program now. It was about she told this about 10 years ago. It was a ex-prime minister, and
Oh, yeah.
maybe 15 years ago, maybe. So now we don't talk anymore about it. But it's famous. I know.
Yes, I was very excited because that was the same time that the Akatsuki probe went from Japan to Venus and took those beautiful pictures of the crystal blue atmosphere and everything that that NASA says Venus isn't.
Mm.
And
But what you must realize is that after the death of Mr. Kubota, we can say that the UFO research collapsed in Japan because GAP Japan was so big. And now, after the collapsing, if I can say, of GAP Japan, there is nothing left anymore. Just a little group here and there, but nothing of as influential as GAP Japan, unfortunately.
well, sir, I'm happy that you are there.
Yeah, I was there in the last years. Maybe the best years, because
Yes.
as you say, the GAP Japan organize every year or twice a year trip to California and to Desert Center and to Mexico, also to South America. So it was a from the 1990s for GAP Japan, maybe was the halcyon years, the best years for GAP Japan. And I was there all the time. And each meeting, there was an annual meeting. Every month there was meeting, but there was one annual meeting, and there was about 400, 500 people attendees. It was fantastic.
Wow. Wow, that'll put us to shame in some respects. Certain UFO groups, when they might hold a convention here, and sometimes they're lucky if they get 200 people to show up.
Maybe I have a photo of one of the. No, it was on the screen, but I cannot find it anymore. Sorry.
Well, this is a photograph that Rob wanted me to show. This is from my collection. This is a friend. She doesn't want her name to be known, but she's standing here with Ingrid Steckling, who was the director once upon a time of the George Adamski Foundation. So there you see the, there
See,
you
I
see
can
the,
I can tell you, I not it's not a secret. This woman was a friend of Daniel Ross also.
yes, yes, that's right.
Mm.
Yes, she was a friend of Daniel Ross, and this is Ingrid here,
You stickling, yes.
and this is a lady. I'll just give her initial is J.R. She was a good friend of Daniel, and this is the painting based on the sketch of Alice K. Wells by Gay Betts of Orthon, and it was in the Stecklings' home. It was moved from Adamski's home on Loma Linda Drive in Vista to the Stecklings' home, and then also in their home that they moved from Adamski's home is this picture of you see the Milky Way galaxy there. And
Maybe I can show you another painting of Orton. Maybe you don't know. I don't. I'm going to show you. Where did you put the?
Raymond, why don't you go ahead and fill in some dead air here while he pulls it up?
Can you-
okay. I brought some other things of
Can you see this photo?
yes, it's small though. I think you have to click on it. Maybe Rob, can you help to enlarge that
I
picture?
can't help him, but I'm gonna have to, we can't, we have to stop the screen sharing here until till he pulls the image up. Mr. Zirger, you need to open it up into a large file and then you can share. So while he's talking or something, if you can do that. So why don't you just share what the image was about? And because we can't really have a lot of empty time on the air where we're not talking. So to keep people's interest. And folks, for those of you who are interested in this research, it's very interesting. We're getting a behind the scenes look at how the influence is coming and going. Go ahead, Mr. Zirger. If you pulled it up, you can show it.
No, I think there is technical problem, so I cannot show the picture.
Well, you can talk about it and maybe share any of the information of these great.
It was a photo of the painting of Orson with Charlotte Blob.
Oh,
Do you know this photo, Raymond?
Yes, I know of Charlotte Blob. I have all the issues of her UFO Information Center newsletter.
But this is a photo of the painting of Orson plus Charlotte Blob, but there is technical problem.
Okay.
You can show? So my wife technician is going to try.
All right.
Can you see?
Oh, yes. Oh, very nice. Very nice.
So maybe it's 1964, 63.
Oh, yes. Yes. She was in a popular movie about the counterculture and hippies as well. And I know later on she went on to form the UFO Information Center that had branches in Mexico, California, and Wisconsin.
So she was friend with Daniel Ross also. Daniel Ross.
Yes, that's right.
And so have you seen this photo before?
No, that's the first time I've seen that particular photo.
So have you met Charlotte Blob?
No, I haven't met her, but I have her tape recordings that she made of Adamski in the last months before Adamski died in the January, February, and March of 1965 up and down the East Coast. I have the original tapes that she made of George Adamski. They're kind of scratchy, but I'm going to play some of them at Mount Shasta.
I have another photo. Maybe I can show this. Do you know this one? The George Adamski and Charlotte Blob.
Oh, yes. That's a beautiful picture there.
So 1964, I think.
Yes.
So she was a great friend of Daniel Ross.
Well, this is a lot of people don't know that Adamski was a master of the mystic arts. That when he was a young boy, he went with his uncle Sidney. He traveled in the Far East to Tibet, and later on in 1935 in Laguna Beach, he started a group to study the cosmic philosophy. This is a original copy of his book, self-published, on the cosmic philosophy. And one of the reasons that the Venusians, I believe, contacted him was because he was aware of these higher concepts and of Eastern philosophies and religion. And as a theosophist, you know, he considered the second point of the theosophical understanding, the second objective. He took it to heart that we can learn from every different kind of source, through comparative religion, through science, through the arts, through history. And it's not a really dogmatic thing that we just limit ourselves to the Bible, and that's it. So this beautiful book, I don't know if it's available anywhere else, but it's outstanding because it outlines not only his philosophy, but that shared by our brothers and sisters of other planets, called the cosmic philosophy.
So I can show maybe some picture. Or the picture. Maybe this one. No, this one. So this, you know, this photo, this is Desert Center, where the meeting with Adamski and Orthon.
Oh, yes.
So I have many photos, and I have some other photo. Of course, maybe this one you.
I'm going to have to stop sharing screen again. You need to pull up the actual image before you share screen. Okay? So I want you to, we can't have you just looking for an image. Try to, if you can, try to pull your image up, then share your screen, okay? It will help, because you can't say, do you know the image, when it's not up. It just will help us a little better to keep the audience interested. So why don't you right now pull up that image and then share your screen. In the meantime, what kind of it did you ever go with Mr. Ross anywhere? And
Mr. Ross, Mr. Daniel Ross came in Japan many times.
Yes.
So I met him many times in Japan.
Oh.
And
Can you share some of his stories that you learned from him? Maybe what impressed you about his research?
But he was a military. He was in the submarine, and I think he became anti-nuclear, and after leaving the Navy, and he became interested in George Adamski, because George Adamski was the story was anti-nuclear things, and so he started become interested into Adamski in 1990s, and
were you able to pull up the picture you wanted to share with us? You go ahead and look at that up. Cause, why don't you while he pulls that image up and gets ready to share it, why don't you share something there, Cause?
Oh, okay. This is from the director, Mr. Andreas of the Belgium International Get Acquainted program. This is some artwork that was done over there. You can see the typical Venusian scout ship with the 3 portholes. This is not a Saturn class ship. That's much bigger. This is just a typical scout ship. Then you see the 3 condensing walls on the bottom, and then the large carrier ship or mothership over here. And then they created the ionization effect there, being on the fringe of the Earth's atmosphere, and the magnetic field of the ship ionizes all the particles around it.
All right, Mr. Zirger, did you pull up your image yet? Whenever you open that image, just go ahead and share like you did, okay? If not, you don't have to share, but you please go ahead and share some. You can share.
Can you see this picture? So I think we have some technical problems. So
Okay, we'll skip the image sharing for now then, but maybe ask Mr. Zirger a question perhaps.
no, finish.
Okay. Have you attended any conferences or symposiums here in the United States yet?
In the I came in United States in 1995 in Washington, D.C. to attend a lecture by the Stecklings and many other. It was in 1995 in Washington, D.C. And
Oh, well, we would look forward, Rob and I would certainly look forward to seeing you one day come to Mount Shasta in California to talk to all the Friends of Venus over there that we gather there every summer.
Yes, I would like to do so. There was a COVID. There was because of the COVID. Now we cannot travel a lot. I have family in United States in New Jersey. And
in New Jersey. Oh, okay. When you go there, you should check out High Bridge, where Howard Menger was from.
Yes.
The farm at High Bridge, New Jersey.
But I came to United States only once in 1995 to attend a lecture in Washington, D.C. There was Steckling, there was Hans Petersen, there was many other people during 3 days. So I came with JIP Japan at the time.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
During 3 days.
This is Mr. Andreas from Belgium, the director of the Belgium contingent of the International Get Acquainted program. That's in his backyard.
No.
And I think I have some stuff here from Australia as well. Now in Australia, they didn't have an International Get Acquainted program, but they did have a group called Flying Saucer Research, which later became UFO Research Queensland. And I had the opportunity of going there in 1988, spending time with the Australians. And I met Roy, I think his name was Roy Smith, and was the director, and Martin Gottschall, he's a physicist from Hungary that went there. And they sponsored Adamski's tour, world tour, when he went there in 1959. So they shared a lot of information with me. Back then I was editing a publication called The New Millennial Star. And see if I could find that here. This is, all right, yeah, they had the Science of Life, individualized home study. That was Adamski's original course of study for the cosmic philosophy. And here's Alice K. Wells on the right. This photo. And oh, here's the one. Yeah, this is from Australia when Adamski was on his world tour in Australia.
No.
I think this is Mr. Gottschall's daughter. She has this little plush toy. This is a very Jesus-like picture. Very, very. He looks very saintly here. He's holding the little girl with the little, with the little plush toy there. And I don't think very many people have seen this picture. But he created quite a good impression in Australia and New Zealand. And I enjoyed living there in 1988. I was there with Robert Frola, who was the editor of the UFO Research Queensland newsletter at the time, and living in the North Cay of Brisbane. So I don't regret ever getting involved in ufology, because it's taken me to 45 different countries around the world. This is people might be curious where George Adamski is buried. This is from the cemetery in Arlington, outside of Arlington, Virginia, outside of Washington, D.C. And it says name, George Adamski. It's grave 295, section 43.
But
so anybody
about
that
Arlington,
visits,
Cemetery, you know that George and Williamson is also buried in Arlington.
Wow.
Just a few meters from George Adamski.
Oh, that's great.
He changed his name, so it's Michel Dobenovic. So you have the grave of Michel Dobenovic in Arlington, maybe a few meters from 50 or 100 meters from George Adamski. So they are both in the Arlington Cemetery. I discovered this in about 15 years ago. I was surprised.
Did you visit Adamski's and Williamson's grave?
Some people send me photo. I didn't go there, but I have the photo of the Williamson grave and the George Adamski's grave. So they are together in the same cemetery.
maybe this might be, I don't know if this was the conference you attended. This says September 8th, 9th, and 10th, 1995, Washington, D.C.
There was a Glenn Steckling as a Glenn Steckling, Hans Peterson as a speaker.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Madeleine Rodefer also.
Speakers include, it says Hans Peterson, Denmark, Ichiro Kubota, Japan,
Ichiro Kubota, yes. Madeleine
Michael
Rodefer
Hesseman in Germany, and Glenn Steckling.
and Madeleine Rodefer also.
Oh, yes, Madeline Rutherford, Daniel Ross, Bill Clendenin, Alice Pomeroy, Joan was Alice K. Wells, Bill and Rhoda Sherwood.
And there was also the wife of Howard Menger,
Oh, Connie.
Connie Menger.
So,
It was during 3 days.
okay, yes. And so this is their program. That's their program for that conference, right there.
I have the recording. I have all the recording of the lecture, but it's on a videotape. I have to transfer into.
This is a typed manuscript that hasn't been seen yet by anybody. Alice Pomeroy or Alice K. Wells's Remembrances of George Adamski, and quite long. And I'm working on a series of articles about George Adamski right now for Lon Strickler's phantomsandmonsters.com and Rob's Inner Circle. So they'll be able to read that. Here's a Cosmic Science Letters over here. And a lot of stuff by from also in my books, in my Venus books, there's a lot of material from Carol Honey, who was a NASA or was a space engineer in Pasadena, and he edited a lot of Adamski's work. And here is
there is part one of the Venus Gospel on my website, folks. So he's got a couple of articles coming up, and I'll stop sharing so you can see the actual handwritten.
This is a handwritten. This is never before published. It's a poem that was written by Alice K. Wells about our friendly neighbors from Venus.
Are you going to publish that in the Adamski section of your?
Yeah, I'll be putting it in our series of articles on your website.
Is that going to be on the in a book form?
Yeah, it'll be eventually in the book. It's the book that I want to do is contain all of the contactees that are delivering the Venus message, and have them all in there as like prophets of a new age.
All right. Well, you guys, you got about 8 more minutes here. Mr. Zirger, if there's anything you'd like to share with us of your wonderful research, if anything you'd like to either share images or you could just tell stories. You have a wonderful knowledge base. Maybe you can share something that you think it's important and relevant for people to know right now in the world.
But maybe some other picture.
If you can open up a picture on your website and then share the screen. Don't show me the whole image. Click on it, make it big, and then you can pick it when you share.
Maybe.
Yeah, Cos, while he's looking, go ahead, keep looking, Mr. Zirger. I'm going to have Raymond keep talking until you can pull it up. When you're ready, just go ahead and do that, okay?
This is a footprint. Can you see? Can you see?
A footprint.
No, you have to push the share screen at the bottom. I think another interview and you'll be pretty well trained on this for now, but just put out that green button and share the screen like you did before. Okay, Cos, keep talking. When you're ready, just share the screen and he'll stop talking.
Well, I believe that the work that Mr. Zirger and myself are doing is very important, and others that are doing contactees in getting this message out, because a lot of this information is being lost. And so the fact that we're out there recovering it and researching it and writing about it is very important as we enter into a new age. If we are going to have a quote Star Trek like future, a world beyond imagination, the basis of it is going to be the information that we have about the extraterrestrials and their presence here on Earth.
Can you see the photo now?
Not yet. Oh, there it is. There it is.
So this is a footprint. One of the photo of the footprint of the extraterrestrial that George Adamski met in 1952 on November 20, 1952, and I have the original print in my safe box. I can say this is a right footprint of Orthon. So on November 20, 1952, the photo was taken by George and Williamson, and it's very clear. This I have the original print, so this photo is very clear, contrary to the reproduction you can find in books. This is the most clear, and I can say that there is no negative. The negative were lost, so there is only the first generation print. This is the first generation print, which is in the manuscript of Other Tongue, Other Flesh by George and Williamson. So this is
Very
the right footprint. This is
very
the right
clear and sharp images with the indentations and everything.
On the lower part, you can see the swastika. On the hill, you can see the swastika, and the near the arrow, in black arrow, who was done by George. The black arrow was traced by George and Williamson. You can see the another mark, swastika, but we cannot see very well. But on the hill, you can see very well the swastika. In the book, Other Tongue, Other Flesh, the printing are not fuzzy, are not clear, but I got the original print, so it's in my book. You can see the best picture, the clearer picture. I have the left footprint also, but I show only the right. This is the right footprint here. So the November 20, 1952, at Desert Center with George Adamski and 6 witnesses, among them George and Williamson, Mr. and Mrs. Bailey, Alice K. Wells, and Lucy McGuinness. So all the witnesses. Yeah,
yes,
so you can
that it's strange that Williamson had the plaster of Paris with him, but not really, since he was an anthropologist.
He used to take
all the time,
because he was an anthropologist, archaeologist. So they had a little plaster card in the trunk of the car, and they use it to do also plaster card. After first they photographed the footprint, after they did the plaster card, they did 3 or 4 or 5 plaster casts, and Williamson kept 2, I think. 2 were given to George Adamski, and I think 1 was given to Desmond Leslie a little later. No.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate that, and I know all of our viewers really enjoy that, seeing that this is more than a make-believe story. There were many witnesses there. Even the time of that encounter, there was right before that, there was a report by an Air Force pilot of an encounter with a UFO over Desert Center at the very same time. And I do notice in your book that you had in the background of the pictures, you could see what appear to be some kind of objects that are hovering or flying in the distance over the mountains.
Which picture?
In the book,
Maybe I can show you this picture. Maybe.
yeah, the case for I think it was the case for Adamski.
I have this picture. Maybe this one. Sorry for the technical problem. I'm so sorry.
No problem. I'm kind of a dinosaur myself when it comes to technology.
I'm a dinosaur and I
You know, Mr. Zirger, it's okay until you figure it out. You don't have to share anymore. We got to keep it moving smoothly. But I'd like for you to
just this one.
Okay,
because
can you open up that image? There we go.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
So it's an unpublished photo. We enhanced and published this photo about 6 years ago, but this photo was known, but we didn't know that there was, for instance, in the circle.
What are we looking at with it in the circles there?
In the circle, in the extreme right circle, you can see Alfred Bailey, one of the witnesses. And you can, on the left circle, you can see the telescope of George Adamski. So this is before the meeting with Orson. Maybe it was 20 minutes before meeting the extraterrestrials. So there is one of the witnesses. So the photo was taken by George Adamski. And so extreme right, you have Alfred Bailey. Alfred Bailey is looking at the sky. And when we enhance the sky, and you can see up in the upper part, left upper part, you can see the mothership, and you can see a little lower, you can see a scout ship. Can we zoom in? No.
Oh yeah, I see it.
You can see the
scout craft, right?
The scout ship descending for the landing. So maybe inside this scout there is Orson. He's going for the landing behind the mountain. We cannot zoom? No, we cannot zoom. No. But just this photo is in my book. We Are Here. In most of my book, I reproduce this photo with enhancement, better enhancement. You can. So you can see here the scout ship. And up above, you can see a part of the mothership.
Yeah, the cylinder of it.
The scout ship. And up above, you can see the mothership. And this is 20 minutes before the meeting with Orson, with the extraterrestrial name.
Yeah, that's what the Air Force pilot reported.
And so the scout ship is going to land behind some hills, and 20 minutes later, Adamski is going to meet the pilot, and they are going to talk during 45 minutes. And the pilot, later we will call the pilot Orson. But this photo was unknown until 6 years ago. I published it for the first time in my book, We Are Here. And I published it also with a better enhancement in my book, Authenticating the George Adamski Case. So this is this is Coxcomb Mountain near Desert Center. So that's all. So November 20, 1952, 20 minutes before the contact with Orthon by George Adamski. And the photo is taken by George Adamski.
That was great. I saw the photos from Daniel Ross with the Japanese group when they went out to that site, and they were trying to pinpoint the location where the encounter originally took place. I think did you publish those in your book too, or
this photo?
the one with the eye gap from Japan, where they went with Daniel Ross out to that site?
Well, I published several photos from Daniel Ross in my book.
Yeah.
He lent me several photos. So maybe I can share another. No. There's so many photos to share. But I'm not a good technician. Sorry.
Well, thank you. That was awesome. Just another vindication that Adamski was right, that he really had encounters. And in my books, I try to provide scientific backing for the things that he said as well. And in this series of articles that I'm writing now. And I appreciate all the work that you're doing. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Raymond. So we are leaving now.
I don't know, Rob. Oh, I guess so. I don't know what happened to Rob.
He's been abducted.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. We've got some kind of telepathic link going on.
Where is Robert Porter? He's been abducted by
he's
gray
Mount
aliens.
Shasta, so he's probably gone the way of Annalise Guerin.
Been abducted by gray aliens.
Well,
So,
I hope to go to Japan. I was only at the airport on my way to China twice, and stopped in the airport there. And but I would love to go and visit the country. I could see from the plane just how beautiful it was, and all the people in the airport were very friendly and took care of me very comfortably while I was waiting for my connection.
this is a paradise, Japan. But I would like to meet you in Tokyo.
Oh, yes, sir. I would love to meet you too.
I'm living in southwest of Tokyo.
I'm hoping that one day that you'll be able to come out to California, to Mount Shasta. I'm in the hills of West Virginia myself, but if you visit the relatives in New Jersey, it's not very far for me to drive there, and I could always meet you there.
But can you travel now with you travel now?
Oh yes, I'm getting my balance back. I've been at the therapy after getting out of the VA hospital for
You got your new shoot now, Cos?
yeah, I pick them up tomorrow in
thought you were
Clarksburg.
abducted.
No,
Yeah, we thought you were abducted, or went to find Annalise Guerin.
actually, I was Mrs. Columbus over there. Hello, lady.
Thought you were abducted by Little Gray.
Anyway, thank you for the interview, folks. And folks, We had a couple difficulties, but I think for those of you who are interested in some of the early days, and to what I hope you take away from this is the long hallowed history of the contact. We're going back to the beginning. Everyone's a contactee, everyone's a channel, everyone's seeing sights. The numbers of extraterrestrials here, 135 million on the ground, working behind the scenes to take some changes on. Amazing progress being made on the liberation of Earth, and very soon everyone is going to know not only this story, but the true history of mankind, our interaction, our cosmic heritage, and the spiritual destiny that we're having. And I want to thank first Mr. Michel Zirger, the wonderful researcher from Japan, originally from France, who has taken upon himself to purchase 2 estates of some very great contactees, actually some of the first in modern day era to ever come forward to the public and share his little pieces of ufology history. And of course, Raymond Keller, as always, for coming on. Mr. Michel, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Roy.
Thank you.
I'm very privileged to talk with you both, to both of you.
Thank you, sir.
The privilege is ours, brother, for sure. And maybe we can do a panel at some point in the future as we get towards my conference. I may be reaching out again, but I'm going to have this recorded. We're going to get this up as soon as I get my other one back. We're going to make this into a post and such. And if you go to my website, you can see the Venus Gospel. Part 1, I believe part 2's up. It may be in a draft. I may not have posted it yet, but it's coming up very soon. And I've got part 3 too. So that's what we're going to do. Kaz, any parting words from you, gentlemen? Michel?
So it was a great pleasure to talk with you both about Adamski and all this kind of things. And sorry for the technical problems.
It takes time. You just practice now. You just know now when you want to show pictures, open them all up before the show. All right. And then you just pick them one by one. Mr. Keller, any final?
My closing words are to quote the Apostle Paul: keep watching the skies, for thy redemption draweth nigh.
Amen to that. Thank you very much. And folks, we're gonna catch you on the flip side or the back side, and we'll see you. I don't know if I'm gonna able to get it done, but maybe we'll do a live post-Christmas Day interview on the Youth Gospel of Jesus, and we'll be reading excerpts of the life of Christ as witnessed through the eyes of our brother Raymond Keller in the Akashic record viewing that took place in real time some years ago. An amazing revelation. Thank you very much, folks, and we'll talk to you soon.